We're gonna get right into it. How you doing? This is part 2 of class. SHU AMUN RA, and we jumping right into this. I want to apologize if we got cut off. I got so caught up in listening to Ray Higgins. It's just that I just forgot the time, according to the time it got cut off. But let's make no mistake, jump into it, because we're going to understand why. How come? What made the Europeans decide they want to change the philosophy of the African people according to their likeness, the European likeness, the Greek likeness, the Roman likeness? Why it was necessary for them to try to deploy our knowledge. You got that knowledge through us. You didn't have the knowledge. So I'm gonna go back to Ray Higgins. For further ado, waste no more time. Let's get into it.
Okay. And then how do you address that?
Right.
You have to specifically identify the device that has miseducated you. Look at its origin. Go to the origin of it. Look at the strategy inculcated into it. What is the strategy behind your blindness? What's up with that? What is the mechanics of it? What is the purpose of it? Why have they purposed to miseducate you? Why? And then look at the methods that they have used to implement their design. And the number one method that's been used to implement this design upon our people is religion. Why is that? Why didn't they use economics to attract us? Because we're not materialistic people. We're not capitalists by nature.
Right.
Why did they use religion? Because by nature we are a spiritual people. By nature we are attracted to things pertaining to God. So because we're attracted to things that's pertaining to God, they use things pertaining to God to snare us and hook us and place us under arrest and incarcerate our minds till we become dysfunctional and powerless. Brothers and sisters, when it comes to the liberation of the African mind from European concepts, whose concepts? Let me do something here. Do you honestly think that there is a need for the European mind to be delivered or liberated from European concepts? Let me hear your, what do you think about that?
Yes.
Or in case you're not clear, let me help you. Nothing is as backwards as to have an African brain with a European philosophy in it. Everybody knows who they are but us. Everybody on this planet. Everybody on this planet has cultural pride but us. Y'all follow what I'm saying? We must examine and then re-examine again and again and again those agencies that have Europeanized our thinking until we are truly disconnected from the tentacles of their grasp. Imagine a giant octopus, okay, and you're fighting just one of the tentacles. Just one of the tentacles, you're fighting it, and you got a hold on that one tentacle, and you think you're winning.
Come on, man.
When you got 7 other tentacles that's wrapping you up and locking you up and making you immobile, you got to learn how to see the big picture here. The ecumenical councils were legally convened assemblies of ecclesiastical dignitaries. What kind of dignitaries did I just say? When I say ecclesiasticals, family, I mean church dignitaries, okay? And let me add this, so-called theological experts. For the purpose, it was convened for the purpose of discussing and regulating matters of church doctrine and discipline. Now, some deep stuff here, because these council meetings actually created what's called authoritative decrees. I mean, they actually passed so-called laws as to what is and what is not, what you are allowed to think and what you better not say. Let's look at this. The Council of Nicaea. 3 things I want to cover here today about that council. The cause of the council. Why was there need to convene this council in the first place? Let's understand that. What was the decree that came out of the Council of Nicaea? And what was the outcome of the council itself? All right, let's look closely at this. What caused the council meeting at Nicaea? Well, to understand that, we have to go back to the first European pharaoh in history. His name was Ptolemy the First Soter. I told you I was going to present some archaeological evidence. This is what you mean. This is what I mean when I say evidence that demands a verdict. This is not somebody that we just made up. Here's a coin that dates back to this man's administration. The first European pharaoh. He was the beginning of what is called the Ptolemaic dynasties of ancient Egypt. I take that back. There's no such thing as an ancient white person. Did y'all hear what I said? They ain't been around long enough to refer to them as ancient. Okay, so if they're doing anything, it's recent. It's Johnny come late. Here you have this man, Ptolemy the First, also known as Soter. Now, write down the word Soter, S-O-T-E-R. Write that down. You can see the years of his life, 367 to 283 BCE, approximately. And then whenever you see CA before dates, that means circa, it means approximate. Did you write down S-O-T-E-R? Yes. Now, after that, write in parentheses, just make parentheses, but you're going to continue the word. I-O-L-O-G-Y. What does it spell? Soteriology. Exactly. Who knows what soteriology is? The doctrine or the study of salvation. Right. You know why? Because the word soter means savior. You need to understand the historicity here. This man, when he became Pharaoh in Egypt, he wanted the Egyptians to consecrate him as a god. Why? Not capital G-O-D, small G-O-D. Why was that? Because all of the pharaohs of Egypt were called gods with a small g. That's why they said Asa-Ra, a son of God. Every pharaoh was considered a god. Now, this European pharaoh comes in and he wants them to make him a god. But the Egyptians did not do that. The Egyptians said, no, you don't belong here in the first place. The only reason why you're on the throne is because it was taken by military force under Alexander the Greek. Not Alexander the Great. Alexander the Greek. Wasn't nothing great about him. Y'all following what I'm saying? Ptolemy I, Soter, was a good friend of Alexander. And that's how he ended up becoming the first European pharaoh of Kemet. Check out his boldness. He took upon himself the name Meriamun Setepenra. Sound familiar? Ursa Ma'at-Ra Setepenra Rametsu Meriamun. Mary means beloved or loved. Amen is God. So Meriamun means beloved or loved of God. Setepenra means chosen by God. He wasn't given this name. He took it upon himself. Well, he insisted that they make an image in his honor. Oh, shucks now. The Egyptians didn't want to do that, so he started putting them to death. So he found a group of sellout Egyptians, Melkite, Coptic Egyptians, and the city of Menepha, which is known today as Memphis. The priest at Memphis, which was also the capital back then, the priest at Memphis said, we'll consecrate you to the priesthood. Why did they sell out? Right, to save their behind. Exactly. Guess what? It still goes on today. So they sold out and they consecrated him to the office of Pharaoh, and they made an image. They made an image in honor of him, and this image is called Serapis. Y'all following me? Y'all sure? So you got to understand this. You can't share this with nobody else if you don't understand it. The worship of Serapis. You see, this dude, Ptolemy I, that is. That's Serapis. The Egyptian version of Serapis, dating back to approximately 350 BCE. This is the image that they made in honor of Ptolemy I Soter. All right. Okay? What is Serapis? They took the name Osiris and combined it with the word Apis, which means the bull. Right. Osiris. It became Serapis. Now here's the deep thing about it. Ptolemy I tried to incorporate the religion of the Greeks Greeks into Egypt by creating the worship of a new god. And this was that god in honor of him called Serapis. Now, it was really a composite deity, as you see here. Again, as I said, made up. It looked kind of dumb, don't it? But hey, you know, the Egyptians had to give him something to appease him. Okay? And as you see here, over here is the Greco-Roman version of Serapis, the painting. How do you know that's Serapis? By the cup on top of his head. Y'all see it? Now, what year are we talking here? Greco-Roman, 135 BCE. So this can't be Jesus. If he had existed, it can't be Jesus. You follow what I'm saying? This is the image that the Greeks made the Africans worship. Yeah, buddy. In fact, to show you how deep this goes, there was a correspondence from Emperor Hadrian referring to the Alexandrian worshippers. Where's Alexandria? Come on, talk to me. Where's Alexandria? In Egypt, Africa, right? Yes. The Alexandrian worshippers of Serapis calling themselves what? The bishops of Christ. Now that's deep. There was no Jesus. There was no Jesus. But yet these people refer to themselves as the bishops of Christ. And here's what he says. Egypt, which you commended to me, my dearest Sir Servianus, I have found to be wholly fickle and inconsistent. Putting down Egypt, okay, I can deal with that. And continually wafted about by every breath of fame, the worshippers of Serapis here are called what? Wait a minute. The worshippers of Serapis are called Christians. And those who are devoted to the god Serapis, I find, call themselves the bishops of Christ. Don't take my word for it, family. Go verify it. Just type this in right here on the internet. This whole thing will come up. Now, what does that mean? That means, brothers and sisters, that in Africa, this image of Serapis that goes all the way back to 350 BCE had become the object of worship. Y'all follow me? This was by command. Arius. Everybody say a brother called Arius. A brother called Arius. He had a problem with it. And he made some noise about it. They say this, and I wonder how true it is. The only thing necessary for falsehood or evil to triumph is for good men or women to remain silent. Follow what I'm saying? Falsehood was on the loose. A black man named Arius from Libya came forth and said, enough is enough. He began to explain to them, and you all see what years he lived here, 256 to 336 AD. So guess what? We're talking about the time of the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD. Needless to say, you see he died 11 years later. Okay? And I wonder, did he die or was he killed? Arius, yeah, buddy. Arius lived at a time when the church was divided because of the Christological dispute which he was instrumental in starting. He taught that, and everybody write this down, Christus, C-H-R-I-S-T-U-S, Christus. Christus was also the nickname for Serapis. What word do you see there? Christ, exactly. Not a Jesus, Serapis. And guess what, y'all? This was deep. This marble image right here, this is the newfangled version of Serapis. Okay, and they've used this bearded figure. This is now the image that they use for Jesus today. Okay, because Serapis, you know, I do in a few minutes show you the comparison. This marble bust of Serapis, which is in where? London Museum. Right now, as I'm talking to you, that's in the London Museum. You were there, did you see it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is in the London Museum. Why haven't we been taught this? Why, y'all who grew up in the church all your life, why weren't you taught this? Why were not taught it? You can't teach it. Because it will cause the Christian church to shut down. Arius was making noise, man. He was telling everybody, this deity that y'all worshiping is not deity. He was made by people's hands. Go back here. Look at that. He was made, he was formed out of metal. How do you tell a people who have been worshiping Serapis for over 2.5 centuries that what they've been worshiping ain't real? How do you do that? Arius was causing such a problem because people started listening to him. And they started doing their research and finding out the man was telling the truth. We're worshiping an image that was made in honor of Ptolemy I. And the Son of God, which this is called the Son of God, same as with Jesus, the Europeans took the S-U-N, talk to me black people, and made it the S-O-N. Why do you think every picture you see of Jesus, the sun is behind his head? We weren't taught to call it, we were taught to call it a halo. I dare you to go down here to the Catholic Cathedral on Lindell, is it? All you gotta do is walk in there and walk up to the altar and you see exactly what I'm talking about. They got this big pearly white Jesus on the cross with the sun behind his head, meaning he is a Sa-Ra, a son of Ra. And Ra was called, or God was called Ra in ancient Egypt. Are y'all following what I'm saying? Arius came along and he began to mess up everybody's program. He started telling people, y'all are believing in a statue. And guess what, y'all? Some of y'all do too. Some of y'all got the statue, little tiny one hanging around your neck. Yes, you do. And I mean, you know, I have to put it out again. Why do you keep celebrating that? Why do you keep celebrating death? You know? If you're going to celebrate something, celebrate life. Why is it that nobody yet? I should patent this thing and make some money. Just so I can pay some bills. I should patent this thing. I should actually patent, and I'm giving somebody a secret to become a millionaire now. Okay, go out here and patent, and don't forget me when you do now, all right? Go out here and patent an empty tomb. Next Sunday, that's what everybody's supposed to be celebrating. The resurrection. Why ain't nobody wearing empty tombs around their necks? They're still wearing the cross with him on it. He's still dead. Y'all follow what I'm saying, people? Arius caused such a problem for the clergy coalition. of his day. He caused such a problem for the ministers' union of his day. He caused such a problem for the ecclesiastical dignitaries of his day that they had, really, people were starting to leave their churches and going to listen to Arius. So what happened, for the sake of stability in the Roman Empire, Constantine called a council and summoned all the bishops of the Roman Catholic Church to this council meeting. It was called the Nicene Council. And in this council, the first order of business was to discredit and silence Arius. We got to stop this man. Yes, black man from Libya. We got to stop him. He's telling the truth. But we don't need for the people to know that. Y'all hearing me? So they convened a council meeting and they came up with a creed. Now mind you, when this council meeting was called, there was no Jesus. Right. This is who existed. Serapis. Y'all following what I'm saying? Are you clear? Don't take my word for it. Invalidate what I'm saying. Prove me wrong. Come on now. Go find a coin or a statue of Jesus somewhere. You won't find one, brothers and sisters. Nobody, Origen, none of the historians of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd century said anything about somebody called Jesus. Listen, bro. Listen, Lord. Listen what I'm saying. If there was somebody who really turned water into wine, they'd have statues of him everywhere. If somebody really took 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and fed 5,000 people, they have statues and monuments of him everywhere. If somebody had really walked the water, that'd been it, man. That's been it. Did y'all see what that brother did, man? Y'all follow what I'm saying? There would be drawings and everything of it. Not one iota of evidence anywhere on this planet. So what they had to do was they had to take this image right here, the Serapis image, and make it Jesus. At the Nicene Council, y'all all right? All right. You sure? All right. At the Nicene Council lasted for 2 months and 12 days. 2 months and 12 days of deliberation as to what to do with Arius, and also to pass a law that people can't kneel down and pray at this time. They got to stand up and pray, and also to pass a law that this is going to be the day that everybody celebrates Easter. Okay? Now, even though this pagan practice of Easter had existed for thousands of years, nobody had actually decided what day it was going to happen on. To the Nicene Council. 318 bishops were present. Pope Sylvester, everybody say Pope Sylvester. Another sellout preacher. Pope Sylvester. Constantine went to Pope Sylvester and said, now listen, I'm making you the first pope. Black man, right? I'm making you the first pope, Sylvester. Okay? But now here's what I want done. And as long as you follow my orders, you'll be a rich pope. You won't have nothing to worry about. Pope Sylvester was Emperor Constantine's puppet and was used to proclaim his wishes. To this council we owe the Creed of Nicaea, defining against Arius. And this is some deep stuff. They actually convened a council meeting and came up with a creed just to discredit Arius.
Gods and goddesses, kings and queens, brothers and sisters, I wanted y'all to watch that whole series. Well, that series is not over yet. I'm going to play it in part 3. Because when you do your research, write down information so you can do your own research. Now, you tell me where Jesus Christ existed. So far, there ain't no Jesus Christ. So far, your first Christ his name was Ptolemy, the first white pharaoh. Okay? The first white pharaoh. And how they got there is when Alexander and Ptolemy, they conquered part of Egypt, right? And started demanding things. Because if you don't demand and you don't get it, you'll kill the enemy. But that's not what they wanted, because they see Egypt as this lavishing place. They didn't want to destroy it. They wanted to conquer it and own it all. So Ptolemy, as you heard in the clip, he wanted to be a god. Now, did you see? He named himself Mary Amun. Mary Amun. You separate the two words as Mary Amun. Mary Amun, right? Mary means beloved or loved. Amun we know is God. Then you got to ask yourself, why did he do that? Because they wanted what the other pharaohs had. Ptolemy's like, hey, if they are gods, I want to be a god too. Brothers and sisters, gods and goddesses, pass this around. Do your research. Pass this information around. It's all there. Write the information down and then start doing your research. Constantine, they're gonna get together with the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, right? Now, that was after Serapis, which you already know. Who is Serapis? Serapis is Ptolemy, right? Okay. Since we know that, understand. And the only reason why they formed that Council of Nicaea at 325 AD because of the brother named Ares from Libya. Because he was starting to preach and telling everybody, you are studying, you're worshiping a false god, a false deity. Where's your Jesus? Jesus is not there yet. The word Jesus don't even exist. They was using words like Christ. They was using words like beloved. Huh? They was using, then all of a sudden now you got Serapis. Does he want to be worshipped? Listen, brothers and sisters, I'm going to see you in part 3. And we're going to get back into Ray Higgins. I told you he used to be a preacher. See you there.